The story is about my mom's recent ex-husband. It happened recently, and it happened over the span of a couple of years. My mom still doesn't want to really admit how bad the situation really was, but she's probably still in a little bit of denial from it. She met this guy that I'll call Joe when I was 5 years old. We had just moved to Indiana, and she was still with my dad, but they had split up shortly after, and then her and Joe started dating. We moved to Florida to live with my grandparents for a few years, but they still kept talking. Fast forward a few years, and I'm now around 14. I also have a sister, and she's 6 years younger than me. She was also heavily affected by what happened, as she had to witness everything firsthand. Anyways, fast forward a few years, and Joe and my mom started seriously dating again, and they wanted to get married. I always got really bad vibes from him, and I tried telling my mom, but she didn't listen. Joe was a smoker, and my mom hated it. He also used to have a drinking problem, but my mom didn't really know just how bad it was until after they got married. I went to go live with my older sister for a few months, for reasons that I don't want to disclose, but my mom and Joe got married during those few months. When I went back to living with my mom, Joe was now living with us. We had a small 2-bedroom house, and me and my sister had to share a room, but my sister would still sleep in my mom's room because she was scared of the dark, so she was sleeping in the same room as Joe too. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and explain all the messy shit that happened. Joe started drinking again. He would be drunk all the time, and he would steal my mom's money for beer. My mom tried to send him to rehab a couple times, but it didn't work. When Joe finally got a job again after being fired from his last job, he would hide money and he wouldn't help my mom with the bills. They were married now, so I mean, it only made sense that they would both pay the bills and stuff. My mom and him would constantly fight about money, him drinking, him sneaking off to buy beer, him stealing, etc. It was pretty traumatic to hear them fight almost every night, and I felt really bad for my sister having to hear it too. Joe would hide his car keys to hide stuff in his car, and my mom once found weed in there. Joe once even stole money from my little sister for whatever he needed. He would also get the only most expensive gas for his car, so he needed hundreds of dollars every month from my mom for that. When he got fired from his first job, he had just sold his gun. And it's a good thing he did because he went to his boss, and my mom believes that he would have tried to kill her if he still had his gun. Anyways, my mom kicked him out several times, but always brought him back, even though me and my sister always begged her not to. At one point he bribed us with Apple Watches, which didn't really make us hate him any less, by the way. And at one point he was drunk in bed, saying he was going to kill himself, and my mom told me to call 911. My sister was in the room while everything happened. Joe had even cheated on my mom during one of the times she kicked him out. My mom finally kicked him out for good after a couple of years, and he went back to the woman he cheated with. That's when the phone calls, emails, texts, and even the threats all began. They would constantly call us and text us, blaming my mom for everything that happened and saying really terrible things about her and making up lies. He was always drunk whenever he would call. One time his new girlfriend even threatened to cut my mom's throat. That was the final straw, and when we decided to call the cops. They couldn't really do anything about it though. The calls and the texts wouldn't stop. My mom kept getting emails up until a few months ago. I'm 17 years old now, and me and my sister are still really traumatized. It felt like my mom chose him over us, and I'm still really hurt over it. But I really just hope to never see Joe again.